Hey, what is up, you gamers? Bracky here. Today we're going to be checking out the 25 best Monster Hunter monsters according to IGN. Now, I know IGN has been responsible for a few controversial lists in the past, to say the least. So yeah, I felt like I'm coming for a place of, you know, responsibility as a Monster Hunter fan to critique their list here, because, you know, they haven't been known for the most accurate list in the past. So hey, let's just dive straight into things. There is a full video review, full video list here on the web page. I'll put a link to this this list in the description below, so you guys can come check out the actual web page if you guys are interested. But anyway, without further ado, let's just get straight into this list. Who we got up first? Looks like we've got Malzeno here as our number 25, which, to be honest, I think I would have this in my 25. I think most of the flagships, to be honest, would make this list. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see what they're actually going to be basing this list off. Also, I already see an extra controversial one coming up next. I scrolled a little bit too far in the page, but it's looking like we have 24 as Behemoth, which is an interesting pick. Sorry, I keep scrolling too far. I can see number 23 as well. But yeah, Behemoth is interesting. It's not actually a Monster Hunter monster. It's a Final Fantasy XIV collab. So yeah, that's rather intriguing. It wouldn't be in my list, but I do actually really value this fight in Monster Hunter World. I think it's a really great collaboration, so I can see why they would put it here. I'm not, you know, arguing with this. I think I actually agree with Behemoth being maybe top 24. Yeah, I don't know. It probably wouldn't be in my list. I do enjoy it, but I don't enjoy the solo hunt experience for Behemoth, so it probably wouldn't make mine, but I can see people wanting to have this in the top 25. Malzeno being below Behemoth is kind of throwing me for a loop, though. Because, yeah, I think Malzeno is a really, really well-designed monster with a super amazing BGM, which makes me wonder, are they taking BGM into account? Is this just the fight itself, or the monster design, how it plays a role in the story of the game that it's in? I don't actually know. We could probably read this passage and see, so. Malzeno is a powerful Elder Dragon that made quite an impression when it flew onto the scene in Monster Hunter Rise's Sunbreak expansion. Its monster strength comes not only from its visual design, which features a glowing aura, so they are sort of basing it off the design. Also the ability to literally drain the life force from anything around it, so sort of conceptual stuff. Yeah, aesthetic, and I suppose the fight itself, you know. But they're not making any mention of the BGM, but we'll see. We'll take a sort of a scan over some of these. But yeah, as we can see, number 23 is going to be Valhazak, which I think is a pretty nice pick. It's one of my favorite Elder Dragons, especially from 5th gen. This is a real standout to me. I'd say my favorite 5th gen Elder would be Namiel, but I think that might be a little controversial. Anyway, let's keep going. Valhazak here, I think, is actually a really good pick. But below Legiana, I can see it. Legiana's an Apex. A lot of people really like Legiana. I think it's got an interesting design. Not my favorite. I probably wouldn't put it above Valhazak, but it is the big boy of the Coral Highlands, I suppose. A valuable teaching moment for many new hunters and a sharp reminder for veterans. I wouldn't go that far, but hey. Okay, this wouldn't be in my top 25, but hey, like I'm not gonna talk smack about Legion. I think it's a great monster and definitely deserves to be in some people's top 25s, I'm sure. 21 is Basil Geese. I gotta agree. I think Basil will probably be in my top 25. Invaders have a special place in Monster Hunter on the whole, and I think Basil especially was a really exciting and interesting one. I feel like the last time I felt this excited when I saw a monster for the first time was really Deviljho. When I first saw Basil, because like I never knew Basil was coming, but I'd heard about Deviljho before when I was playing Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for the first time. That was my first encounter with Deviljho. But Basil, I'd never heard about. I didn't know it was coming. I just saw this thing out of nowhere on one of my high rank quests, and I just lost my shit. I tried killing it. It mowed me down. So yeah, Basil, I have great experiences with this thing. It's an amazing hunt. Yeah, definitely deserves a spot on this list. Black Diablos, though? Oh, I scrolled too far again. Black Diablos? Really? At 20? Okay, that's a very intriguing pick. Black Diablos. Not regular Diablos? Maybe we see Bloodbath Diablos a little bit later in the list. But Black Diablos specifically is very interesting. Maybe it's because of the concept of you know, or the ecological stuff around Black Diablos, you know, being a female Diablos in Heat or whatever. It's an interesting idea, but yeah, at number 20 we have Black Diablos. Again, while standard Diablos is cool, we all know it's the Black Diablos that reigns supreme. That is a very, very bizarre line and a really strange entry. This would not be in my top 20. This probably wouldn't even be in my top 50. Anyway, let's keep going. 19, we have Sharish Valda. I think this is a really, really cool final boss. I know a lot of people feel pretty mixed about Sharish Valda and Xeno'jiiva as like final bosses in their respective games / expansions. I actually really like Sharish Valda. It has nothing to do with ice, the ice motif they were going for in Iceborne, but I think it was like a cool little curveball at the end, and like a really shocking moment partway through the hunt where all of a sudden the rocks just sort of come crumbling off the monster, and it unleashes these weird tendrils, and it just becomes this whole otherworldly experience. It's a really, really great hunt, and actually, yeah, I definitely agree with this being in my top 20. 18, we have Furious Rajang, which is interesting because they show a picture of a regular Rajang here. Okay. Anyways, Furious Rajang, the more aggressive and more powerful variant of the original Rajang, is a force to be reckoned with. Its golden glowing fur charges up with electrical energy as the fight plays out, essentially turning it Super Saiyan. But then they showed the regular Rajang. What are they doing? Anyways, number 18, we have Furious. I'm not going to argue with that. A lot of people love Rajang, myself included. Furious is just bigger, beefier, scarier. Yeah, it's a great fight, really great fight. Astalos at number 17. We have another flagship here, Fated 4, from the Generations crew. It's actually, I would agree with this. I fully expect that we're gonna see at least I don't know, 2 of the other Fated 4 here. I have a feeling we're not gonna see Gammoth, but Astalos, Mizutsune, and Glavenus, I would 100% expect to see all of those on this list. Astalos, out of those 3, would definitely place the lowest for me, so I don't have any hard feelings about Astalos being 17. I probably wouldn't actually put Astalos in my top 25, but that's just me personally. I'm not a big Astalos fan, but I do love it. It has a cool BGM, really cool motif. I like it being sort of like that. This sort of electrical dragonfly kind of... I like the bug insect wing aesthetic. It's a really interesting design. It just never quite appealed to me as much as it did for a lot of other people. But I definitely respect this being a top 20 monster for a lot of players out there. Number 16, we have Amatsu, which is a really cool final boss monster from Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. Showed up again in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. A really great fight in both games. Great BGM, fantastic BGM, super, super cool design. Storm Elder Dragon. It's the definitive Storm Elder Dragon, I feel like, on top of Kushala, which I don't know if we're going to be seeing Kushala on this list, to be honest. Hey, maybe they're... Personally, I think Kushala deserves to be here. I love Kushala. I think it's an amazing fight in most games, but I feel like World kind of left a bad taste in some people's mouth with regards to Kushala. I would like to see it on this list, but since we're getting a monster like Amatsu at number 16, it makes me think maybe not. But hey, more controversial picks have been made. I definitely think Amatsu deserves to be top 20. So yeah, this is not a crazy controversial pick or anything. Raging Bracky, I actually almost expected to see this higher, to be honest. I almost want to make a prediction about what we're gonna see at the higher levels here. I feel like in top 3 we're gonna have Nergigante, Velkhana, Rathalos. I'm predicting Rathalos top 3. Don't at me. I'm predicting. I just think they're gonna want to do this fan service pick with Rathalos top 3. That's my guess right now. We might not see it at all. Who knows? Anyway, Raging Bracky at number 15. It's a pretty base pick. Raging Bracky is a super awesome fight in Monster Hunter World. I feel like it was something of a redemption for the Raging Bracky fight because to me personally, it wasn't super interesting in its previous forms. Glavenus, there it is. So one of our other Fated 4 that I expect to be here. Again, I don't expect to see Gammoth. I do expect to see Mizutsune. But Glavenus at number 14, not totally surprising. I think it's a really interesting design for a monster. Super, super cool. Really fun fight. Great BGM. Just, yeah, all around a fantastic flagship. I feel like among the Fated 4, this was the big one that was kind of the main flagship of that game. So really, really cool. Number 13, we have Teostra. I don't know if I'm gonna be in the minority here, but I'm not a big Teostra fan. I sure as hell hope we don't see Lunastra a little further up, but Teostra is, yeah, I prefer most other Elder Dragons to Teostra, but I know that's not the same for a lot of people. A lot of people really love Teo. I don't know, man. Maybe Day of Ruin in Monster Hunter World turned me off this monster completely. I think it's great. I'm not gonna talk smack to any of the Teo fans. I think it's a good monster, but it definitely wouldn't be in my top 15. That's for sure. Namiel, I wasn't expected to actually see Namiel on this list. Based pick. Good job, IGN. Yep, we love Namiel. I love Namiel especially. I think it's just such an interesting design for an Elder Dragon, to be honest. It's really, really cool. The whole water and electricity combination. And the light show that it does in its cutscenes. Has a weird, sort of otherworldly BGM to it. Yeah, just a really, really cool monster. Really great Elder Dragon. And I hope we see it come back in some later Monster Hunter entries. Who knows? Maybe it'll be back in Wilds. Maybe this will age like old milk in broad daylight. Who knows? Anyway, let's continue. 11, we have Gore Magala. This would have been in my top 5, personally. I am such a Gore stan. I love this thing so much. We got some Rise. We got a Rise footage thing here. A still image from Monster Hunter Rise, where I think Gore looked fantastic. Honestly, I think out of all the flagships and all the Monster Hunter games, I think Gore Magala is the flagship that I felt fitted the most with its story, and it had such a cool storyline in 4 Ultimate, or sorry, base 4 technically. Yeah, I loved how Gore Magala played into the story of 4 Ultimate. It's got an amazing BGM. It's a really, really cool hunt. Elder Dragon in disguise. Super, super awesome monster. I'm just sad it's not higher, but 11 is not bad, so good job, IGN. You included a cool monster. Number 10, we have Rathalos. Okay, so it sucks that this is above Gore Magala, but I mean, it's iconic. It's Rathalos. I genuinely expected this to be top 5 at least. I'm not saying I want it to be at the top 5. I'm not a big Rathalos fan personally, but hey, it's here. It's Rathalos. It's top 10. They weren't gonna not have Rathalos in this list. Let's be honest. But hey, I'm not against the top 10 Rathalos. Number 9, we have Fatalis. So I was right not putting Fatalis in the top 3. I personally think this does deserve a top 10. It's definitely not, like, in its best form, in my opinion, in Monster Hunter World. In that game, it still is a super, super, super amazing fight. It would be definitely top 3 fights in the series for me. But in its other games, I don't think Fatalis is quite as much of a sticker. I think it's a good fight, but definitely not a huge standout, in my opinion, in the other games. But in World, I think it really had a huge redemption. It's an amazing fight in that game. Super, super great fight. It's arguably one of the strongest monsters in the series. I'm not even sure that's not a, yeah. I think you could just say it is one of the strongest monsters, because that fight is insane. Number 8, we have Kirin, though. What are you doing, IGN? Okay. I'm sure most people are gonna agree. I don't like fighting Kirin that much. It's a great design. It's iconic. It's cool. It's been around for a long time. But Kirin in number 8? Over all these other monsters, we're putting Kirin in here? Oh my god. Oh god. Look, I like Kirin as much as the next guy. Okay, I clearly don't, but hey, I'm not a... Number 8? Really? Okay, let's just continue. For some reason, I have a feeling it's only going to get more controversial from here on out, because we've got all these fantastic monsters further back in the list, and now we're getting to monsters like Kirin, which I just feel like I probably wouldn't include in the first place. But hey, let's just keep going. Do not be fooled by Kirin's graceful form and demeanor. This unicorn-like Elder Dragon will not hesitate to impale you on its giant horn like a chicken kebab. Who you calling a chicken, IGN? Its quick dashes and lightning attacks will leave your head spinning. It often circles you faster than you can rotate the camera, which means you'll need to make use of perfect positioning unless you want to have your favorite palicos wheeling you back to camp with nothing left but your life. They're really glazing Kirin up here. I feel like this might be sponsored by Big Kirin, this article. Anyway, let's just keep on going. We've got another 7 monsters here, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Number 7, we have Mizu. Again, I expected to see Mizu today. I probably also would put this above Glavenus, but I think in my heart of hearts, I want to put Glavenus higher, but I actually do think Mizu is a really, really great fight. Super, super awesome design. Great BGM. It really, really fit the aesthetic in GU, and they had the misty peaks in that game. It just felt like it was made for that. It was such an amazing monster. I love Mizu, and I'm really glad it's coming back in Monster Hunter Wilds. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anyone who hadn't seen the most recent trailer, but yeah, title update 1. Very cool. Number 6, we have Legiacris. This is surprising to me, not because it's number 6, but because it's not actually higher. I actually almost expect, seeing what came before, I almost expect this to be number 3 now. But hey, Leggy in number 6. Who's gonna complain? I actually think Legiacris is definitely top 3 flagships for me, in my opinion. It's an amazing hunt in the game that it's in. I'm actually in the game that it came from, basically. But I'm not a big fan of the idea of Legiacris coming back in Monster Hunter Wilds personally. I think it might, but Laggy, I feel like underwater combat made this such an incredible fight. The 50-50 back and forth between fighting this thing on land and in the water. It felt like as a hunter, you had the advantage fighting this thing on land, but then when it went back to the water, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Digikarus was menacing. It was terrifying under the water. It was such an amazing hunt. I feel like taking it out of the water is kind of, depleting some of its value as a flagship. But hey, I'm a Legiacris lover. I think it's a fantastic flagship for the game that it was in. 100% agree with Legiacris being top 10 here. Let's continue. Number 5, we have Crimson Glow Valstrax. So not actually Valstrax. We have Crimson Glow Valstrax. I just got to peep at number 4 here. We have Crimson Glow. I've never really looked too deeply into the difference between regular Valstrax and Crimson Glow Valstrax. I personally couldn't notice any, but some of the Monster Hunter experts out here might be able to inform me on the differences between the two. But I'm pretty sure this is some sort of variant of regular Valstrax. I would have just said Valstrax and just left it at that. I basically think of them the exact same way. They're a really cool monster, really great design. I know it's a fan favorite. The BGM's great. Super, super cool monster. It shocks me that they were able to implement this thing well in Monster Hunter Rise. With it zipping over the map and all that. Anyways, have you ever thought, I wish the monsters in Monster Hunter looked more like a fighter jet speeding across the sky? Well, you're in luck. Crimson Glow Valstrax, introduced as post-launch DLC for Monster Hunter Rise, is a variant of Valstrax that has been given afterburners. Oh, okay. Its glowing red wings shoot flames as it darts across the sky, making for one of the coolest introductions to a monster in the series' history. Using its large, sharp wings as blades, Crimson Glow Valstrax is one of the series' most unique monster designs in recent memory. I would say Valstrax is one of the series' most unique monster designs, and Crimson Glow Valstrax is a variant of it, but okay, IGN. Number 4, yeah, we have Savage Deviljho. We saw this. I think it's fair to say Savage Deviljho here, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this variant of the base monster being the cooler version of the monster. I mean, it is probably. I think like Savage Deviljho is more interesting than regular Deviljho, but it's only interesting because it's a variant of the base, It's only a different version of the base monster. I would have just put Deviljho, but that's just me. I do think Savage Deviljho is the one that I think is cooler, but hey. It's a great fight, and again, for the similar reasons as Basil Geese, I think people would have had incredible experiences with Deviljho. It's an iconic monster. It's a fun fight in my opinion. Really, really terrifying to fight for the first time. Huge, big monster. Very large. Anyway, we've made it up to the top 3. Let's see what they have in store for us. Number 3, we have Nargacuga. This is the flagship of my first Monster Hunter game. I love Nargacuga to bits. It's so cool. They're showing Lucent here for some reason. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I would include Green and Lucent as like a, subsets of my favorite monsters. I would put Nargacuga on the list, but I'd be like, I'd be mentioning the cool variants. So like, I'm interested as to why they put Nargacuga on here when we have like, slightly more interesting variants of Nargacuga. Like they've done that for this monster. They did it differently between Deviljho and Nargacuga here. Unless they genuinely think Nargacuga is the best version of Nargacuga. But in my opinion, there are cooler versions of this monster. But hey, based pick. Nargacuga top 3 is actually it wouldn't be in my top 3, but I can definitely respect this pick. Good job, IGN. Number 2, we have Nergigante. Did I call Nergigante? I think I did, right? I don't know. I'll go back and review this footage later and see if my choices aged well, but I feel like I put Nergigante in top 3. Or maybe I'm just convincing myself that. Anyway, we have Nergigante in top 2, or number 2. This doesn't surprise me. Monster Hunter World was the game that really blew up the franchise and got this, you know, huge spike in popularity. A lot of people love this monster as the flagship of their first Monster Hunter game. I respect it. I think it's a fantastic monster design. Super, super cool. Like the eater of Elder Dragons. It's, yeah. Very, very edgy and cool and powerful Elder Dragon. Very fun. And Ruiner, again. I actually think it's a base pick, putting this instead of Ruiner. I think Nergigante is, like, kind of the cooler version, to be honest. Ruiner is great, but I don't know. I felt like a slight letdown when you had to wait until MR 100 to fight it, and by that point, you're pretty damn strong. And it's not even a tempered version, it's just the base version. So, like, not crazy interesting, the Ruiner. But Nergigante, number 2. I can definitely respect this pick. Makes me wonder, are we gonna see a Velkhana number 1? I don't know. It's an ogre, so Velkhana didn't even make this list. Okay. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. Zinogre is hugely popular, and I kind of forgot that this wasn't even, you know, this hadn't even appeared so far, but yeah, we have Zinogre here. Damn. I didn't expect Zinogre. I don't know why. Zinogre is, like, super, super popular. This probably wouldn't even be top 5 for me. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying that. I don't know. I didn't grow up playing Portable Third. I was a Freedom Unite guy, and then I skipped straight from Freedom Unite to 3 Ultimate, I think. So I never had that Portable Third experience to begin with, but I do love Zinogre. I do love Zinogre. It has a great BGM. Super cool monster design. It's a really, really good fight, and it trains you up well for later monsters in the game that it's from, so yeah, I can't argue with this. And honestly, I think overall, in summary, I think this is a pretty damn good list, but there are some really great monsters that we just didn't see here. Like, we didn't see Alatreon, did we? Maybe they just really didn't want to put a whole bunch of, you know, Monster Hunter World fights in here. And I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter World lover. Like, I love Monster Hunter World, but it's definitely not my favorite Monster Hunter game. But some of those endgame fights in World, they just put so much love and effort into them. It's kind of a shame to not see stuff like Safi Jiva, Kulf Taroth, for sure. Like, maybe not the base Kulf Taroth, but the event. Like, I would put Kulf Taroth in my top 25 100% of the time. So, like, I don't know, it's an interesting list. That's for sure. But hey, they didn't completely disappoint me. Just a couple of interesting weird picks here and there. Hey, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite monsters are in the comments below. Maybe do a top 5 list for me, and I can yeah, I can let you know. Maybe I'll do my own. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out, gamers. Bye.